Have you ever stopped and wondered where your money keeps disappearing to? Not the big bills, but the small, quiet spending. The little purchases you barely think about. The treats, the comfort buys, the things you didn't truly need. They slip through your fingers so easily. And before you know it, your peace feels drained. Your confidence shakes a little, and your budget feels tighter than ever. If you've been feeling that silent stress, you're not alone. I felt it too. And that's why I stopped spending money for a while. What happened next surprised me, changed me, and honestly gave me back a sense of control I thought I lost. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because I'm sharing the 15 real things that happened when I stopped spending, and how each one can help you reset your life after 60. And if money has been weighing on your mind lately, tap like so YouTube shows you more calm, senior-friendly financial tips. If you're living on a fixed income, or your money doesn't come in the same way every month, you know how heavy that uncertainty can feel. Some days it's not even the big expenses that worry you. It's the small ones that add up quietly. The spending that happens out of habit, or those moments when loneliness sneaks in, and buying something feels like a little comfort. And then there's the pressure from family, wanting to help, wanting to give, wanting to be there for everyone even when your own budget is already stretched thin. It's hard to say no, and even harder to admit when you're struggling. Maybe you've had those moments where you bought something without thinking, and afterward felt a little regret, wondering why you did it again. Maybe you felt disappointed in yourself, like you should have more discipline, more control, more stability by now. But here's the truth, you're not alone. So many seniors feel this way, even if they never talk about it. These feelings don't mean you're failing, they mean you're human. And this reset can help you breathe again. Today, I'm sharing the 15 real changes that happened when I stopped spending money, not theories, not guesses, but the actual emotional shifts, surprising challenges, and simple habits that ended up saving me more than I ever expected. These changes didn't just help my bank account. They helped my peace of mind, my confidence, and the way I approach daily life. And the best part? Every one of these lessons is simple, realistic, and senior-friendly. You don't need extreme budgeting, complicated rules, or big sacrifices. Whether you're over 50, living on a fixed income, or just looking to reset your life, these insights can help you feel more in control, more grounded, and more financially at ease. Stay with me. Even one of these changes could shift the way you handle money starting today. 1. I finally saw my real spending triggers. The first change I noticed when I stopped spending money wasn't about numbers on a bank statement. It was about understanding myself. For years, I thought my spending habits were just about money slipping away. I'd look at my account and wonder, where did it all go? But stopping allowed me to step back and see something much deeper. It wasn't the money itself that was the problem. It was the emotions driving me to spend. For me, the triggers were familiar: boredom, loneliness, and stress. Some days, I would wander through the store or scroll online, buying small things just to fill a quiet emptiness inside. It wasn't even about needing the item. It was about feeling something in that moment. I realized how often spending was a shortcut to comfort, a distraction from the things I really felt but didn't want to face. Loneliness hit hardest, especially on quiet days when the house felt empty. A small purchase could give me a momentary lift, a tiny sense of connection or reward. Stress worked the same way when deadlines, appointments, or family responsibilities felt heavy. Reaching for something to buy felt like regaining control, even if it was temporary. This insight was huge for me. It helped me separate the emotional need from the financial action. Once I could identify the feeling behind the impulse, I could respond differently. Instead of buying, I could take a walk, call a friend, or even just pause and breathe. That shift didn't happen overnight, but it gave me clarity that my money problems were also emotional problems, and solving them required more than a budget. It required awareness and intentional choices. Here's the surprising part. When I mapped out all the times I reached for my wallet or card, one trigger shocked me. I realized I was spending out of habit more than actual need. Certain routines had become so automatic that I didn't even notice them. The morning coffee treat, the weekly impulse buy at the grocery store, the little extras for comfort. Seeing it on paper made me laugh and feel a little embarrassed, but mostly it made me feel empowered. Awareness was the first real step toward change. Mini hook. Wait until you see what trigger surprised me the most. Once I identified these triggers, I could start creating alternatives. That didn't cost money. but gave the same emotional benefit. Feeling lonely? I called an old friend or joined a community group. Feeling bored? I explored hobbies I'd forgotten about or walked outside. Feeling stressed? I practiced a simple breathing routine or gentle stretches. The takeaway here for anyone over 50 is this: your spending habits aren't just about money, they're about feelings. Recognizing your triggers gives you control, and it's the first step toward building a financial reset that also nourishes your emotional well-being. When you stop spending, you start seeing patterns, the real reasons you reach for money, and that awareness alone can bring more peace than any purchase ever could. 2. My home instantly felt calmer. One of the first and most surprising changes I noticed after I stopped spending money was how peaceful my home suddenly felt. At first, it wasn't even about the money itself. It was about the stuff that wasn't coming in. Without new purchases, I could finally see the space around me clearly, and that created a sense of calm I hadn't realized I was missing. Seniors, in particular, often carry a lot in their homes. Over the years, we accumulate gifts, purchases, and items that once seemed essential but now just take up space. Each new item, even a small one, can subtly add to visual clutter, which in turn increases mental clutter. Our minds are like our homes. When the environment is crowded, our thinking, focus, and mood get crowded too. When I stopped spending, something almost magical happened. Every time I entered a room, I noticed the calm. There was no new extra demanding my attention. No impulse buys shoved onto shelves or counters, slowly creeping into the background of my life. That quiet, empty space was refreshing, almost like breathing for the first time in months. I realized that clutter isn't just physical, it's emotional. Those piles of things we've accumulated carry subtle stress. I should organize that. I'll use that someday. That's taking up too much space. All of it adds up. And as seniors, we feel it even more. Our energy may not be what it used to be, and the small mental friction of disorder can feel heavier than it seems. The calm wasn't just mental, either, it was practical. Without new stuff coming in, I could keep the house organized much more easily. Cleaning became faster. Finding things wasn't stressful. Even simple tasks felt lighter. Because there wasn't that extra layer of visual noise, silently demanding attention. I started noticing how often I had subconsciously been avoiding certain rooms or drawers because they were too messy or too full. Once spending stopped, those spaces slowly became manageable and inviting. I didn't have to buy fancy organizers or spend hours decluttering. I just had the mental clarity to use what I already had effectively. Another shift was how much more I could appreciate what was already in my home, without constantly adding. I noticed the sentimental items, the cozy spots, the simple comforts I had forgotten. That appreciation brought gratitude and peace, which are priceless at any age. Try a short experiment. For 1 week, don't bring any new items into your home. Notice how your rooms feel. Pay attention to your mental state when you walk past a countertop or open a drawer. You'll likely feel an unexpected sense of calm and control. This isn't just about saving money. It's about creating a home that supports your well-being. The biggest lesson? When less comes in, your life clears out emotionally too. Your home and your mind are deeply connected, and slowing down spending gives both the space to breathe. For seniors especially, this creates an environment where simple joys, memories, and comfort can shine, without distraction or clutter stealing the focus. 4. I stopped feeling pressure to please others with gifts. One of the most freeing realizations I had when I stopped spending money was that I had been buying for approval, not necessity. For many seniors, there's a quiet pressure to give to children, grandchildren, even friends, as if gifts alone measure our love or care. Over the years, this pressure can quietly accumulate, leaving both the bank account and the heart feeling stretched. I realized how often I bought things I didn't need, simply to avoid feeling guilty or to live up to expectations. Birthdays, holidays, small celebrations, I would rush out to purchase gifts, thinking, this will make them happy, and they'll appreciate me. But the truth hit me slowly. My presence, my time, my attention, my love, these mattered far more than any item I could wrap or buy. Stopping the spending forced me to rethink what giving really meant. I began focusing on being present rather than being generous in the material sense. A phone call to a grandchild, a shared walk, A heartfelt conversation, these moments became my gifts. And the response was remarkable. Not only did my loved ones notice, but the joy I felt giving it this way was richer and deeper than anything money could buy. This change also brought emotional relief. I no longer felt the quiet guilt of overspending. I stopped comparing myself to others or worrying about how my gifts measured up. I realized that love doesn't need to be wrapped in paper or priced at the checkout. It thrives in connection, thoughtfulness, and time. For seniors, especially those on fixed incomes, this is a critical shift, recognizing that your value isn't tied to what you can afford, but to the care, attention, and warmth you bring. Next time you feel pressure to buy a gift, pause and ask yourself, could my presence mean more than a purchase? Could a simple note, a shared meal, or a phone call convey my love more than money ever could? Often, the answer is yes. Small, intentional gestures can replace costly spending, while deepening relationships and reducing stress. The bigger lesson? By stopping the spending to please others, I gained a sense of freedom and emotional balance I hadn't experienced in years. I was no longer weighed down by obligations or expectations. I could give in ways that truly mattered, meaningful, heartfelt, and completely sustainable. And for seniors, this realization isn't just practical, it's transformative. It reconnects you with what truly counts: love, connection, and being fully present. 5. I became more grateful for what I already had. One of the most beautiful and unexpected changes I experienced when I stopped spending money was how grateful I became for what I already had. Before this shift, it was easy to focus on what I didn't have: the latest gadgets, the newest kitchen tools, or the next small indulgence. Even small purchases created a subtle sense of longing, a feeling that I needed something more to feel complete or content. When I stopped buying, something amazing happened. I began noticing the richness in my life that had always been there, quietly waiting for attention. A well-worn chair that cradled me comfortably, a favorite mug that held my morning coffee just right, the familiar aroma of my home, or even the memories attached to old items. All of it became meaningful again. Instead of chasing new things, I was reclaiming the joy in what I already owned. This emotional shift had a profound effect. I realized that feeling rich isn't about money. It's about appreciation. It's about pausing to recognize the comfort, beauty, and utility already surrounding us. For seniors, this is especially powerful. We've accumulated decades of possessions, experiences, and relationships, yet it's easy to overlook their value when we're caught up in consumer culture or habit. By embracing gratitude, I noticed that the urge to spend for pleasure or status diminished. Each time I considered a purchase, I reflected on what I already had, and often found that it more than satisfied the need I was trying to fill. I felt lighter, calmer, and more in control, because my happiness was no longer dependent on what I could buy. Try this simple exercise every morning. Name 3 things you already own that bring you comfort or joy. It could be anything: a cozy blanket, a favorite book, a reliable appliance, or even a small memory tied to a keepsake. Make it a daily habit. Over time, you'll notice a profound shift. Your focus moves from scarcity to abundance, from longing to contentment. The bigger lesson is that gratitude transforms our perspective. It turns our homes and lives into spaces of abundance. Even without new spending, we start to feel wealthy emotionally, even if our bank balance hasn't changed. And that emotional wealth is often far more rewarding than any purchase could ever be. For seniors, this shift is liberating. It reduces stress, strengthens mental health, and encourages intentional living. By stopping unnecessary spending, you can reconnect with the joy of your possessions, your memories, and your everyday life, and discover that richness has been there all along. 6. My bank account finally started to grow. This next change was the turning point for me, and it might resonate deeply with anyone over 50 trying to regain control of their finances. After weeks of intentionally not spending, I began to notice something I hadn't felt in a long time. My bank account was actually growing, not by huge leaps, but steadily, reliably, and visibly. And for seniors, seeing even small progress like this can be incredibly empowering. For years, I had felt trapped in a cycle. Paychecks or pensions would come in, bills would go out, and somehow there was never enough left to feel secure. Even small discretionary spending seemed to chip away at my peace of mind. But stopping unnecessary purchases shifted the balance. Even minor savings, skipping an extra snack, saying no to a small impulse buy, or finding a free alternative added up. Slowly, the numbers on my statement began to tell a different story. The emotional impact was huge. That first moment when I checked my account and realized, I actually have a little breathing room now, felt like freedom. It wasn't about becoming rich overnight. It was about control, stability, and reassurance. That tiny growth brought a sense of confidence I hadn't realized I'd been missing. For seniors, this is vital. The peace of knowing you can cover unexpected costs, contribute to loved ones, or enjoy small joys without financial anxiety is life-changing. I also learned to celebrate the small wins. One extra $20 saved here, a few dollars by repurposing leftovers there. It all compounded. This mindset shift, valuing each small saving, turned everyday actions into moments of empowerment rather than deprivation. Instead of thinking, I can't have this, I thought, I'm choosing to invest in my peace and security. This next one was the turning point. Try a simple tracking system. Note every small saving you achieve each week, whether it's avoiding an impulse purchase, cooking at home instead of eating out, or using what's already in your pantry. At the end of the week, review it. Seeing progress in black and white, no matter how small, reinforces positive habits and strengthens your financial confidence. The bigger lesson here is that financial empowerment doesn't require huge sacrifices. For seniors, small consistent choices accumulate into real security. Each dollar saved becomes a vote for your peace of mind, independence, and confidence. Watching the bank balance grow, slowly but surely, is more than numbers. It's a reminder that you still have control and choice, no matter your age. 7. I learned the difference between want and need. One of the most important lessons I learned during my spending reset was something surprisingly simple: the difference between want and need. For years, I had been shopping on autopilot, reaching for items out of habit, impulse, or just a quiet desire for comfort. Sometimes it was a small treat at the store, sometimes a gadget that promised convenience, and sometimes just something that looked nice to have. I didn't even stop to ask myself if I truly needed it, and as a result, I often felt mentally and financially cluttered. Seniors are particularly prone to this. We've lived through decades of consumer messages, convenience temptations, and social expectations. Even if we're on a fixed income or careful budget, habits formed over time can be hard to break. I realized that much of my spending was not about necessity, but about habitual comfort or emotional filling. And that habitual spending can quietly drain both money and mental energy. When I began consciously asking myself, do I need this, or do I just want it? Everything changed. Suddenly, many small purchases that had felt necessary before now seemed optional, or even unnecessary. That clarity made my daily decisions easier. Choosing what to buy became simpler, less stressful, and far more intentional. For seniors, this is transformative: less confusion, less regret, and more confidence in every decision you make. I also noticed an emotional shift. When I distinguished between wants and needs, I began appreciating the essentials I already had. A well-stocked pantry, a cozy chair, or a favorite book suddenly felt enough. The urge to chase the next nice-to-have faded, and I found satisfaction in the present rather than seeking fulfillment from new purchases. Before making any purchase, pause and ask, do I truly need this, or do I just want it? Give yourself permission to wait a day or two before buying. Often, the want will pass, leaving only genuine needs. This practice reduces impulse spending, strengthens financial control, and fosters mindfulness, all of which are especially valuable for anyone navigating life on a fixed or limited income. The bigger lesson here is that clarity simplifies life. By separating wants from needs, I freed my mind from unnecessary decisions and stress. I discovered that my life didn't require constant spending to feel full or satisfying. Each purchase became intentional, meaningful, and aligned with my true priorities. For seniors, this shift is empowering. It reinforces independence, reduces anxiety, and restores control over both money and life. 8. I stopped feeling embarrassed about my finances. One of the most freeing changes I experienced during my spending reset was letting go of the embarrassment I had carried about my finances. For many of us over 60, money can feel like a quiet source of shame, whether it's worrying that we haven't saved enough, comparing ourselves to others, or feeling like we made mistakes earlier in life. That embarrassment can stay hidden, quietly influencing decisions, interactions, and even self-worth. Before my reset, I often avoided talking about money, even with family. I would nod along when others discussed purchases or plans, silently feeling anxious that I didn't have the same financial flexibility. That silence weighed heavily. It wasn't just about the dollars. It was about self-judgment and fear of being seen as irresponsible. Stopping spending and focusing on my needs and priorities changed everything. I began to take ownership of my financial life. Small steps, yes, but consistent ones. Tracking my spending, reducing impulse purchases, and finding contentment in what I already had gave me confidence. I no longer felt the quiet sting of shame when I thought about my bank account. In its place was pride and clarity. I also realized something crucial. Money shame is surprisingly common after 60. Many seniors feel that they should have more saved, spent more wisely, or handled past financial decisions differently. But holding on to that shame doesn't change the past. It only robs the present of peace. By taking deliberate control now, I discovered that I could replace embarrassment with empowerment and self-respect. Start small. Review your finances once a week and celebrate. Any progress, even minor savings or thoughtful choices count. Acknowledge where you were, but focus on what you can do today to feel secure and confident. Replace self-criticism with recognition for the steps you're taking. Each mindful choice builds confidence and reduces shame, creating a healthier relationship with money. The deeper lesson is this: confidence replaces embarrassment when we act with intention, taking control of spending, understanding needs versus wants, and valuing what you already have doesn't just improve finances, it improves your emotional well-being. For seniors, this is transformational. Life after 60 can feel lighter, calmer, and more dignified when we stop hiding and start making choices that reflect both wisdom and self-respect. 9. I found peace in simplicity. One of the most surprising and rewarding changes I noticed when I stopped spending money was how peaceful life became simply by living with less. At first, I didn't realize it, but constant shopping, acquiring items, and juggling purchases had created a subtle form of mental fatigue. Each new item, each small decision about spending, added layers of distraction and stress that I hadn't fully recognized. By slowing down and focusing only on what I truly needed, I began to simplify my environment, my schedule, and my mindset. Fewer purchases meant fewer choices to make. I didn't have to decide whether to buy this or that, whether I had space for it, or how it would affect my budget. This simplicity translated into mental clarity. I could think more clearly, make decisions faster, and feel lighter in everyday life. Seniors, in particular, can benefit greatly from this shift. After decades of accumulating possessions and responsibilities, our minds can become cluttered with decisions, small and large, that quietly drain energy. Simplifying doesn't mean depriving yourself. It means removing the unnecessary to make room for calm and focus. I also noticed that simplicity brought a deeper emotional peace. Without the constant influx of things, I could focus on experiences, relationships, and the things that truly mattered. I felt less pressure to keep up, less comparison to others, and less distraction from the present moment. Life felt more intentional and grounded. Start by looking at one area of your life, a drawer, a closet, or even your daily routine, and ask, do I really need all of this? Or is some of it just noise? Removing or pausing unnecessary items or habits can instantly reduce mental clutter and create space for what's meaningful. Over time, simplifying decisions, purchases, and routines will conserve energy, reduce stress, and enhance emotional well-being. The key lesson is this: peace is found in simplicity. When we stop chasing more, we allow ourselves to appreciate what we have and focus on what matters. For seniors, this isn't just about money, it's about freedom, clarity, and mental rest. By embracing simplicity, life becomes less overwhelming and more joyful. allowing every choice to feel purposeful and every day to feel lighter. 10. I became more creative. One of the most uplifting changes I experienced when I stopped spending money was how it sparked creativity in my everyday life. At first, it felt surprising. I thought a spending reset would only affect my finances. But soon, I realized that needing to make the most of what I already had opened the door to resourcefulness, imagination, and small joys I had long overlooked. For seniors, this shift can be incredibly empowering. Suddenly, I was looking at my home, pantry, and belongings with fresh eyes. Items that I had previously ignored or thought outdated became opportunities. I began repurposing things in new ways, turning an old scarf into a decorative piece, combining kitchen leftovers into satisfying meals, or using simple household items for hobbies and crafts. It was a reminder that value doesn't only come from purchasing, it comes from seeing potential where it already exists. Cooking became a particularly joyful exercise. I stopped relying on convenience foods or ordering out and started creating meals from what I already had. A few vegetables, some pantry staples, and a little imagination turned into delicious, nourishing dishes. Not only did this save money, but it also brought a sense of accomplishment and pride. Seniors often benefit emotionally from activities that combine practicality and creativity. It boosts confidence and reminds us of our capabilities, even in small daily routines. The reset also encouraged me to find joy in non-spending activities. Walks in nature, reading, calling friends, or even revisiting old hobbies became sources of happiness. These activities don't cost a thing, yet they enrich our lives in ways purchases never can. For seniors, this is a gentle reminder that true fulfillment often comes from engagement, presence, and creativity rather than acquiring more. Look around your home and ask, how can I make something new out of what I already have? Try combining items in new ways, experimenting with recipes using only pantry staples, or revisiting hobbies you once enjoyed but neglected. Small creative acts, done intentionally, can bring both joy and empowerment, proving that life after 60 can be vibrant, resourceful, and fulfilling without spending a dime. The bigger lesson here is clear. Creativity flourishes when we set boundaries for spending. Instead of focusing on what we can't have, we begin to see possibilities in what we already possess. For seniors, this isn't just practical. It's emotionally liberating. It strengthens confidence, reduces reliance on material purchases for happiness, and turns everyday life into a canvas for imagination, problem-solving, and meaningful engagement. 11. I strengthened my self-control. One of the most empowering changes I experienced when I stopped spending money was how much it strengthened my self-control. At first, it felt like a small challenge, resisting impulse buys, skipping unnecessary treats, and saying no to items that had once felt essential. But over time, I realized that each small decision was building my confidence and reinforcing my sense of personal power. For seniors, self-control isn't just about finances. It's about regaining a sense of mastery over life. As we age, it's common to feel like the years of experience and wisdom aren't enough to help us manage daily decisions effectively. Stopping spending became a form of proof I could still make intentional choices, exercise discipline, and prioritize what truly mattered. That sense of "I still got it" was invigorating. Each small win mattered. Saying no to one unnecessary purchase didn't feel like deprivation. It felt like an achievement, a quiet acknowledgement that I was in control of my life again. Over weeks, these small victories accumulated, creating a ripple effect. I became more thoughtful in other areas of life too. How I spent my time, how I organized my home, and even how I approached relationships. The confidence from self-control extended beyond money. I also noticed an emotional shift, where once I felt powerless to my impulses, I now felt calm, capable, and intentional. There was no longer that nagging guilt after purchases, or the stress of wondering if I had spent too much. Each conscious decision to pause and reflect became a reaffirmation of my independence, showing me that wisdom isn't just something from the past. It's something we actively exercise every day. Start with one small area where you can practice restraint. It might be skipping a daily coffee shop treat, resisting an impulse online purchase, or choosing to cook at home instead of ordering out. Celebrate each time you succeed, no matter how minor it seems. Over time, these small wins build a muscle of self-control that strengthens both financial habits and overall confidence. The bigger lesson here is simple but profound. Self-control is empowering. For seniors, it's not about strict deprivation. It's about reclaiming autonomy, proving to ourselves that we are capable, and building a foundation of confidence that touches every area of life. When we strengthen our self-control, we don't just protect our finances, we protect our peace of mind, our independence, and our ability to live intentionally. 12. I slept better. One of the most unexpected and life-changing benefits I experienced when I stopped spending money was how much better I slept. For many seniors, financial anxiety is one of the most persistent and silent stressors. Even small concerns, unpaid bills, unexpected expenses, or worries about stretching a fixed income can quietly keep our minds racing at night. Before my reset, I often lay awake thinking about what I had spent, what I still needed, or how I might stretch my resources to cover the next week. That mental noise made rest difficult and left me feeling drained the next day. Once I made the conscious choice to stop spending on unnecessary items, something shifted. With fewer financial decisions to worry about, fewer impulse purchases causing guilt, and a clearer sense of control over my money, my mind finally had a chance to rest. The quiet evenings that once felt heavy with worry became peaceful. Laying down at night no longer triggered a mental checklist of what I had done wrong or what I needed to buy. Instead, it became a space to relax and recharge. For seniors, this benefit cannot be overstated. Sleep is deeply connected to physical health, mental clarity, and emotional balance. By reducing financial stress, I not only saved money, but also protected my well-being in a way that no purchase could. The calm that came with intentional spending allowed me to approach each day with more energy, focus, and positivity. I also discovered a surprising ripple effect. Because I slept better, I felt more patient, more present, and more capable during the day. Small challenges no longer felt overwhelming, and I could make decisions from a place of clarity rather than anxiety. The emotional and physical benefits of sleep were truly priceless. A reward far greater than any material item I might have bought. Try pairing your spending reset with a nightly routine that encourages calm. Review your budget once during the day and set it aside. Practice deep breathing, or reflect on 3 things you are grateful for before bed. Knowing that your finances are under control and that you've made intentional choices allows your mind to rest, paving the way for restorative sleep. The larger lesson is this: peace of mind is more valuable than money spent. For seniors, managing spending intentionally isn't just a financial habit, it's a health habit. By reducing financial anxiety, you create space for better sleep, improved mood, and greater resilience. The calm mind at night is, in many ways, priceless, and it all starts with taking control of your spending and aligning it with what truly matters. 13. My relationships improved. One of the most meaningful and surprising changes I experienced when I stopped spending money was how much my relationships improved. For seniors, financial stress and the pressure to constantly provide can quietly create tension with family, friends, and even within ourselves. Over time, I realized that overspending or feeling obligated to buy gifts or extras had been creating subtle resentment, both toward myself and toward others, that I hadn't fully acknowledged. Before the reset, I often felt pressure to meet expectations, buying gifts for grandchildren, helping adult children financially, or keeping up appearances in social situations. Even when I wanted to give, the financial strain sometimes turned my generosity into stress, which seeped into my interactions. I noticed that I wasn't fully present. Conversations felt hurried, moments felt heavy, and the joy of giving was overshadowed by worry. When I stopped spending unnecessarily, that dynamic began to shift. I had fewer obligations that didn't align with my priorities, and as a result, I felt lighter, calmer, and more in control. This allowed me to approach relationships with presence and attention, rather than obligation or guilt. I could listen more, engage more genuinely, and enjoy interactions without the silent stress of what else do I need to provide, or buy. Seniors will especially appreciate this. The emotional freedom from financial pressure creates space for authentic connection. I found that simply being present, offering my time, my attention, and my companionship strengthen bonds far more than any gift or purchase ever could. Family gatherings, phone calls with friends, and quiet moments of shared activity became richer, more meaningful, and more peaceful. Instead of focusing on spending to express love or care, focus on presence and meaningful interactions. Take time to listen actively, share a meal, or engage in a shared hobby. These small gestures foster deeper connections without financial strain and allow both you and your loved ones to feel valued and appreciated. The bigger lesson is this: reducing financial pressure nurtures relationships. For seniors, stepping away from the cycle of unnecessary spending creates more space for patience, joy, and genuine connection. It's a reminder that love and care are not measured in dollars, but in time, attention, and shared experiences. When we align our spending with our values, we not only gain financial control, we gain the peace and fulfillment that comes from stronger, healthier relationships. 14. I started appreciating free joy. One of the most heartwarming changes I noticed when I stopped spending money was how much I began to appreciate the simple, free joys in life. Before this reset, I often associated happiness with purchases, a new item, a small indulgence, or a treat I could buy. Over time, that pattern had subtly trained me to look outward for satisfaction, rather than noticing the richness already around me. Once spending slowed, I began to find delight in everyday experiences that cost nothing at all. Walks outside became a treasured ritual, offering fresh air, gentle exercise, and moments to reflect. Music, whether a favorite song, hymn, or live performance in the park, became a source of calm, energy, and nostalgia. Conversations with friends, children, and grandchildren transformed from casual check-ins into meaningful connections, simply because I was fully present. Even spiritual practices, prayer, meditation, or quiet reflection, took on a deeper significance, bringing inner peace that no purchase could match. For seniors, these free joys are particularly powerful. They restore perspective, helping us recognize that fulfillment and happiness are not dependent on spending, but on engagement with life, people, and the world around us. Each small activity became a reminder that contentment is not bought, it's cultivated. And the more I embraced these moments, the more I felt my life expand emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. This shift also changed my mindset. I no longer felt the constant urge to shop or fill quiet moments with purchases. Instead, I savored experiences, celebrated simplicity, and felt gratitude for things that were always available, things that had been free but overlooked. This awareness brought a profound sense of satisfaction and a renewed appreciation for the richness of daily life. But number 15, that one changed everything. Take a few moments each day to notice something free that brings joy. It could be a walk, listening to music, sharing a conversation, or a quiet moment of reflection. Write it down or simply savor it. Over time, these small, intentional pauses reinforce gratitude, reduce stress, and help you experience life's abundance without spending a dime. The lesson is simple. Happiness doesn't require a purchase. For seniors, focusing on free joy nurtures emotional well-being, strengthens relationships, and brings a sense of abundance that money alone can't provide. It's a reminder that life's most meaningful moments are often the simplest, and fully available to anyone willing to notice and embrace them. 15. I realized I actually need far less to live a good life. The biggest and most transformative change I experienced when I stopped spending money was realizing something that feels simple, yet powerful. I actually need far less to live a good life than I thought. For years, I had measured comfort, security, and even happiness by what I could buy or accumulate. But the spending reset revealed a truth that is profoundly liberating for seniors. Life is richer when it's focused on essentials, experiences, and intentional choices rather than constant consumption. This shift brought a deep sense of freedom. I no longer felt tethered to the pressure of keeping up, acquiring more, or meeting external expectations. The anxiety that had quietly followed me through daily life wondering if I had enough or whether I was doing enough began to melt away. Every choice became lighter because it was rooted in clarity and purpose. I could prioritize what truly mattered: peace, relationships, health, and personal fulfillment. Equally important was the emotional reset. Letting go of unnecessary spending freed mental and emotional energy. I no longer felt pulled in multiple directions by obligations, impulses, or comparisons. Instead, I felt grounded, calm, and in control. The quiet satisfaction of realizing that my happiness didn't depend on money was profound. I could enjoy meals, conversations, walks, music, and reflection with a sense of abundance that wasn't tied to my bank account. Perhaps the most powerful outcome was the identity shift. Before, I saw myself as someone at the mercy of circumstances, worried about money, pressured by expectations, and unsure of my financial independence. After this reset, I saw myself as capable, intentional, and fully in control of my choices. That shift in perspective is priceless. For seniors, it isn't just about financial management. It's about reclaiming agency, dignity, and confidence at a stage of life where each day is precious. Take a moment to reflect on your essentials, the items, activities, and experiences that truly bring value and joy. Notice what you can let go of and what you don't need to purchase to feel content. This exercise isn't deprivation, it's clarity. By focusing on what matters, you reclaim freedom, reduce stress, and create a life that feels both intentional and fulfilling. The bigger lesson is clear: you don't need excess to live fully. By realizing how little is truly necessary, I gained financial control, emotional balance, and a renewed sense of purpose. For seniors, this insight is transformative. It allows you to live with freedom, gratitude, and confidence, proving that the best things in life often aren't things at all. I spent decades believing money was safety and spending was comfort. Every purchase, big or small, felt like reassurance, a way to cope with stress, loneliness, or the pressures of family life. But when I stopped buying unnecessary things, something remarkable happened. I realized that peace doesn't come from spending. It comes from being intentional, from noticing what I already have, focusing on relationships, and savoring simple moments. For seniors, this shift is profound. Happiness and security aren't in the wallet, but in our choices, our presence, and the calm we create around us. Every thoughtful decision, no matter how small, builds freedom, confidence, and a life that truly feels ours. What's one thing you've bought recently that you didn't actually need? Tell me in the comments. No judgment. If this gave you even a tiny bit of clarity, tap like so more seniors can reset their finances. If you're ready for a calmer, simpler life after 60, hit subscribe. We're doing this journey together.